Well, hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be working on fixing this broken paper shredder. Well, hello everyone and welcome back. If you're a regular to the channel, welcome back. Glad you could join me again. If you're new to the channel, how about hitting that subscribe button so you get notified of all future videos I produce? Whether they be repair videos, tool reviews, DIY projects, whatever it is, I'm sure you'll enjoy it because I'm looking out for you guys. Anyway, so today we're going to be working on this broken paper shredder. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have paper shredders out there, and sometimes they tend to give you a little bit of trouble, just like this one has. And they make two different types of paper shredders. The strip kind, where it just puts out ribbons of paper, and then the crosscut, which is what this is, which puts out confetti. Kind of like this, confetti. And this is the best type because this is practically impossible unless you want to spend hours and hours trying to put it back together to read what's on there. It's practically impossible. Few people, if any, are going to try to go through your garbage to put this back together to figure out your secrets. But the strip one is a whole bunch easier to put it back together. So I don't recommend those. Those were the only game in town for a while available to the consumer because they were affordable. In the old days, you could get a strip shredder, which I have had. You could get it for like 20 bucks, where the crosscut used to be in the $100 range. So that was a little bit expensive for a consumer. Now these guys have come down to the $20, $30 range, so they're very affordable. So this is definitely the way to go. And a little pro tip for you, before I start tearing into this baby, if you have one of these and it's in good working condition and you want to keep it in good working condition, here's a little pro tip for you, a little maintenance to do on it every so often to keep it running properly. I don't want to forget to mention this. So the thing is, these guys, when you're shredding paper and making it into confetti and stuff like this, they tend to create a lot of dust and a lot of stickiness and stuff like that. And it tends to get the blades all stuck. Let me show you the blades on this. That's what the blades look like in the shredder. And you see, this is so wide open. That's why a lot of these, you cannot use them unless you put it into the bucket that it comes with, the little trash can that they come with. It has a sensor to not let you use it outside like this, so you don't put your fingers in there and hurt yourself. Anyway, so to keep this going properly, it's good to lubricate it like once a year. And I know you're asking me, well, this is an electronic device. How do I lubricate it? Do I have to open it? No, you don't. All you need to do is get yourself a piece of paper, and they do sell these. If you don't want to go to the trouble, they do sell lubricant sheets that you can put into the shredder, and it'll lubricate it and clean it as it goes. But those are like $10 a pack of like 5 sheets or so. So you can only get like 1 or 2 uses out of it. You can do it yourself for nothing. All you got to do is get yourself some plain paper, any paper, it doesn't matter, just plain Jane, ordinary paper, any paper. And then what you do is take some cooking oil or motor oil, anything like that, dab it on your finger and spread it across the paper. Just get some more, dab it on there and spread it across the paper. So, you know, oil up the paper. Don't pour it on because it'll run off and make a big mess. So just take some oil, dab it on the paper, and then run it through the shredder. And that little bit of oil in there will clean and lubricate the blades in here and keep it going for a long time. So that's a little pro tip for you. Put a couple sheets through there and then run a clean one afterward just to clean off any excess, and you're done. Once a year, that'll keep it going really, really well. So anyway, this little fella here is in Aurora, and let's see, the model number is AS890C. There you go. That's this one. But what we're going to dig into right now will apply to any shredder. So that really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be brand specific because these are all put together pretty much the same way. And this one, I found it in the trash. I saw somebody throwing it away. And I just grabbed it because I was going to use it for spare parts. Not spare parts to fix another shredder. Just, there's a lot of good metal and gears and stuff in here, switches and so forth. So I just keep those. I tear it apart, keep all the random bits and pieces, and I can use it for other projects. So that was my initial intention. And then I got here and I found that it still works. So somebody just got frustrated with it and threw it away. So normally, to open this up, what you do is turn it over and there's screws in all these holes. You take the screws out and then you can open it up. But I don't need to do that. The screws are still in there, but apparently somebody got really kind of angry and messed with it. You can see they pried it all up here. All this is messed up. You can see all the pry marks on there. It doesn't look very pretty. So either they were prying it on here, or they threw it in the trash can and blew it open, or threw it across the room. I don't know what they did, but easy peasy. We just tear it apart. Nothing to do here. So here is the inside of this shredder. And you see the motor, the gears, all these different components, a lot of good metal rods and stuff in here. Easy stuff, no problem at all. So the things that can go bad in here are either your motor, the switches, or there are some sensors in here. See, in the old days, the old strip kind had a much bigger opening here at the front. They've narrowed these down a bit. In fact, I have another shredder which has a lid which is totally closed. You can't put paper in it until you open the lid, put the paper in, and then close it back up again. So that's to prevent people sticking their fingers in there and getting hurt. So that's one thing there. And like I said, you have to put it on the container to get it to work. So these things have some sensors in here. And that is what I think is the problem with this unit in particular. Because the motor still works. I'll show you. If I plug it in, this is one of the sensors loose back here. So you plug it in, doesn't do anything. This is the sensor that tells you if it's situated inside the little trash bucket or not. So it's not going to go forward because you got to put paper in that. And off doesn't do anything. But if you put it in reverse, you see it doesn't do anything. Hold on. I don't want to ruin my bench here, so let me put it on top of this. Create a little space there. So this is this switch has to be closed to be able to work, and you see it works in the reverse position, telling me that the motor is still good and the switch is still good. So those are things we can eliminate right there. So the problem, I believe, there's another sensor right here, and see this piece, let me take this off. Now it's really stuck in there. Whoa, come on. This piece became dislodged. This piece was just floating around in there like that. How that happened, I do not know. But without this piece, it won't do anything. Because when the paper goes in here, this is the sensor that tells it to start shredding. Well, technically this is not a sensor. This is an extension for the sensor. The sensor is right here on the side. You can tell this is the sensor or switch that needs to be tripped for you to be able to start doing the cutting of the paper. So let's see. And some of the bits are a bit broken, like you can see in here. Some of the parts are a bit broken off because, like I said, they either threw this across the room or they pried it up and broke it. But all the screw connectors are broken off. So if I'm able to get this working properly, I'm going to have to super glue all this stuff back together to get it to stay back in there. So one step at a time. At least we know the motor works, the one sensor works, this one I believe works also, and this was loose in there. That's what the big problem was, I'm sure. So I just test fitted it to make sure it goes in here, and it does. Because see, some of them, the sensor will be right here, right in the middle. So instead of having a little lever, this sensor will be right here in the middle. So when you push the paper in, the sensor trips and it sends a signal to the gears to start moving. This one is situated a little differently. So if you open yours up, check and see first, is the sensor there to begin with? Did it fall out? Did it become dislodged? Is it dirty? Is it stuck? Is it sticky? Like, use this one back here. You can see it's just a simple metal rod sticking out of there, and it just trips the switch. So if it's stuck in the closed position or open position and it won't move, then this will prevent you from using your shredder. So if this is located in here, let's say, and this is what senses the paper as it comes in, because the paper can push it as it goes in. If it's located right there, try cleaning it. Try just cleaning out the sensor if it's located here in the middle and see if it'll work properly or not. That may be as simple as that. Then you can put it back together and you're good to go. If you have a problem with the switch, then it could be just a loose connection. You could just try to check and see if any of the soldering is cracked, any of the wires came off, the switch may have become separated, dislodged, anything like that. You can check that out. That's not a problem here in this case. So this sensor over here appears to work. So this one, instead of the sensor being in the middle, is off to the side. So we have this little lever to work with over here. So let's put it back and see if that will do the trick. Let me always have like an old toothbrush around. These come in very, very handy, especially for little things like this. See if I just gave it a cursory look, so I don't even know if this is going to work or not, but I figured as I fix it, I'll make a video and have you guys learn what's going on along with me. And this is kind of dirty in here. I'm going to have to get a little bit of cleaner and clean that out better. But for the time being, I think this will do the trick. Let's clean you out. A lot of the dust and contaminants can make it not move properly. And this one, I don't know if this is the way it's supposed to be, but it's a little bit, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but to my eye, it's a little bit crooked. So I don't know if it may need a little straightening or not. It's a little crooked there in the middle. So I don't know if that may have been causing some, drop everything. That may have been causing the problem for them. I don't want to bend it too hard because I don't want it to snap on me. Just a little light bending, that seems to have made it a little bit better. I mean, you got to remember, this is sitting inside there. It's cheap little piece of plastic. It gets hot if you're shredding a lot, so it's prone to bending and warping. That seems to have straightened it out a little bit. Yeah, it's very flexible. Let's see if that'll work. Let's give that a shot. Get this guy back in there. This guy over here. And it's not really held in by anything. It's just, does it snap in? It doesn't look like it'll snap in. It's probably just held in place by the lid. So that seems to be all that's going on right here. So that has to kick that up right there as you put in the paper. And that should kick it back down. And I think what's going on here is, you see it doesn't want to go back. What I notice is, this might be stuck in the on position, and that could have been some of the frustration they were having. So again, this is where the lubrication I mentioned earlier can come in handy, because you see how it gets stuck? It won't go back. So it will just keep running and running and running and running and running because this needs to turn off. Yeah, that's not going back there. That does not want to go back. So I'm going to just say, let's try a little bit of the old toothbrush here. See if that'll help a little bit. Oh yeah, that seems to be helping a bit right there. Some paper dust or something probably got stuck inside the sensor right there. So it looks like cleaning that off a little bit may help. I may just spray a little WD-40 in there to make sure it goes back and forth better. But it's a simple little, let me see if I can pull this out of here. There we go. There we go. There. It's coming back better now. There you go. So a little bit of paper dust is probably what got stuck in there. And that seems to be what's causing the trouble. Let's lubricate it a tiny little bit. And see what we can do here. Come on, you still sticking on me? All right, that seems to have helped. There you go. That seems to help right there. Now it's not sticking as bad. So when you hit it with a piece of paper, there you go. That seems to be working better. All right, let's try that. Let's see if it was as simple as just lubricating this and cleaning it up. I mean, eventually, once I proof all this and make sure it works properly, I'll go through and I'll clean the whole thing properly, but I don't want to do it all right now because that way you never know what you're going to disturb. So one step at a time. This little sensor is the issue. It was probably getting stuck, and who knows, maybe they got mad and threw it against the wall out of frustration. So let's give this a try. And this sensor probably needs to be situated back here. So it'll sit in this. I'll have to test and see how it goes, but it'll probably sit in this position in here somewhere. I don't want to stick it in there right now. But that is what senses that you put it in the little bucket. That way it'll work. So I'll figure that out in a little bit. And let's just keep it outside right now. We can control it better. Let's see what we can do. Power cord out through there. There we go. Now, let's see what we can do. Put you in auto mode. Plug you in. Nothing yet. Let's try some paper. Auto mode. There we go. And we got to hold this so we're telling it that it is in the bucket. And you see it doesn't do anything. Let's see what it does. And it shuts off. Perfect. That's good. Try another piece of paper. Let's see. In the bucket. Come on. There we go. There we go. It's working. All right. A little hard to get the paper in this one. Let me put it, this paper is a little thin. Double it up a little bit for testing. Hold it, the switch. That works perfect. So it looks like we just fixed a trash paper shredder. Somebody threw it away due to their frustration. And as you can see, the only actual issue that it had, let me unplug that. The only actual issue was that this little lever and this little switch got plugged up with the residue of the confetti paper, because if you grab this in your hand, you're going to notice it is rather dusty. So you wonder, where does that dust come from? Well, the dust comes from the paper itself. So I'm going to clean this up, get rid of some of the paper residue and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe a little alcohol and so forth, go through it to clean it up really well. And this will make a good paper shredder now. So that goes to show you how simple these machines are inside. And if you take it apart carefully, not throwing it against the wall like the previous owner did, you can actually salvage this and fix it. Only a motor, a switch, and a couple of sensors that control how this thing works. So that shows you right there how easy these are to fix. So if you have a paper shredder, don't give up. You can fix it and save yourself some money and put it back to work. Do the lubrication that I told you earlier every year just to keep it clean. And if it does give you trouble, open it up and clean it up a little bit and you're good to go. You can save your paper shredder. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe so you get notified of future videos. Hit that thumbs up button and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.